Okay, so the conspiracy of the Titanic, part 3, and hopefully I'll get through it because, it's a very complex discussion of finance and the reasons that, in my mind, I think there was some sort of conspiracy to kill people like the Strausses, Guggenheim, the Astors, right? Because it all revolved around a battle that was going on between these people. Strauss, Isidore Straus became a congressman while he owned Macy's. Okay? So he's in the US Congress. And the JP Morgan side has been trying to pass a law that creates the Federal Reserve, that creates a private banking structure that creates debt and loans money to the people, the government, that we then owe the bank, the private people. So they don't have the money. They just pretend, right? They just go to the printing press, print up a bunch of dollars, cut them up, give them to the government. Now the government owes them money. People like the Strausses were like, we're going to follow the Constitution, where it says in the Constitution, if you don't understand the Constitution describes the 3 branches of government, right? The presidency, the Congress, which is the Congress and the Senate, right? But they're considered the Congress as a whole, and the judiciary, which is the Supreme Court. And in there, it spells out their roles and what they're designed to do. Okay? Congress was the ones who authorized the spending, the creation of money, and the creation of loaning and debt. They're the ones that are supposed to have the power to create the banking system, to create money and use it for the benefit of the people and the government. And that's the side that these people were on. Okay? JP Morgan and his people are on the side of a Federal Reserve, your usurpation of the monetary system so they can control it. And of course, these people all swim in the same circles, right? They all hate the European aristocrats because of the way they treated the Americans, who had way more money. These people were a lot smarter than them in every kind of way. They're creating entire industries and technologies, while the people in Europe, the aristocrats, they're only wealthy because they were a baron and their parents had money and they had a bloodline. And these people didn't know how to manage money, right? They're not creating anything. They're just like giant leeches soaking up money off the backs of the peasants in Europe. So the American Gilded Age class of wealthy people, they said, what we're going to do is we're going to go over there and we're going to take all of our money and buy every single thing of value we can, which is like ancient sarcophagi, stelas from ancient Egypt, manuscripts, paintings, especially the paintings they could get a hold of was modern art because the aristocrats hated it. And so what they did is these people of high society, they got together and they created like the Brooklyn Library. They created the Metropolitan Art Museum with all the Egyptian artifacts, the Museum of Modern Art. So they're all over there on vacation working towards that goal because they want their name on the building and to be remembered that through their, because they were such nice people, they did that for the people, Obviously it's not, but the point is like that's why we enjoy all of this artwork, is because these people went over and did it. But so now getting back to JP Morgan, the fight has been going on with Congressman Strauss and his friends, and the bill is like, it's not going anywhere. Half the people want to pass it and half don't. So this is going on for, like a decade. Really, this argument's been going on since Alexander Hamilton, the early 1880s. But, so just for modern times, it's still going on. And the bill is there to get it, to try to pass that we take the current banking system controlled by the U.S. Congress and hand it over to the private bankers. Okay? JP Morgan owns the Titanic. They're all coming back from Europe from vacation, from buying all this art. The first, they depart out of Belfast, and then they stop in England. And what happens in England? JP Morgan and all of his friends get off the Titanic and do not get back on board. So when the ship set sail out of England, all of the people that are for the Federal Reserve bill that is before Congress are not on the boat. But all the people who are against it are. Okay? The power base that is fighting, their power base is all on one boat in one place in the North Atlantic. And possibly there's a coal fire going on at the front of the ship in one of the coal bins. The ship was full of coal bins. And it would have taken a long amount of time to remove all of that coal by hand with the shovel and put out the fire. So they decided to just let the ship go, even though it had an internal fire. They thought, oh, the ship is steel of such a magnitude that it's not going to harm the ship. But JP Morgan, either A, he knew it was going to fail, or B, thought it was a possibility, and he told all his friends and they got off. Now, if you go even farther, the ship's captain, who went down with the ship, he was on the side of JP Morgan. He was hired by him. They all worked together. Hey.
Good, just to remind you,
Security's telling me you got to get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? So I only got a few more minutes. But so there's a fire burning in here. JP Morgan knows. Supposedly all the people who worked down in the hall, who were like the operators of the engine, they all quit. They had to hire new people because they refused to let the ship go out. But they had to let the ship go, right? Because there's all this media about it being the greatest ship ever built and nothing can sink it. And if for any reason it doesn't depart on the scheduled date that they've told the entire world for the last year, it's going to be a media marketing disaster. So what happens? JP Morgan knows there's a fire in the stern or the bow. And he says to all his friends, let's get off this ship just in case. Or he tells the captain, I know you believe what I believe. You're up there in age. If you want to be remembered in history and you want to do something great for us, your family and your people, you're going to make sure that this boat where this fire is located at hits an iceberg. Okay? Now, to me, that's exactly what happened. Because 8 months after the Titanic, what bill do you think passes in the Congress? If you said the creation of the Federal Reserve, you are correct. Ding, 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 you win. The opposition was no longer in Congress to put his foot down. All the people with the money who are backing the congressman who were the stalwarts against this progress, they're gone. And now the people that are anti-Federal Reserve have no backing financially or politically. And the other side steamrolls over them and tells them, like how it is today, you're going to vote with us or you're not going to be a congressman the next election. Or, we have this dirt and, we're going to put it out in the public and you're going to be forced out of office. So that's what I think happened. And if you think about also, JP Morgan, do you think he took a financial hit for this? No. The Titanic was insured. So he got all that money back. Right? Takes out the opposition, gets paid for it, then gets to be in control of a worldwide banking system where you get to go in the computer and add zeros to your checking account. But I'm the crazy person. Think on that.